Hi.
Hi.
Very funny film.
Thank you very much.
So your character goes from a dishwasher to a bank robber?
Mm-hmm.
Career change, huh?
Well, he did have a background of larceny. I mean, he had tried some, if I recall the script, some check forging and had gone to jail he had attempted a robbery before, if you remember, with the rubber Ronald Reagan masks.
And then basically he had a nickname called the Brain. And so I guess he was the brains of the outfit, but it really wasn't a term of endearment, was it?
Not in that case, no. I think you would have to feel that the character I played in that movie could in no realistic way, by any group of people, be considered the Brain. Not realistically.
So what was your source of inspiration? I know in the film you had a clip of White Heat, and but I felt it was more like John Huston's The Asphalt Jungle, because you were tunneling.
There's a long tradition of heist movies where people tunnel in places, and the two things I was thinking of when I made the movie were some of the films of Lubitsch, who was to me the best of all American comedy directors, and The Honeymooners, who I always laugh at. Jackie Gleason and Art Carney and Audrey Meadows, I always find hilarious. And so I was thinking of that when I was putting it together. That was a big influence on the film.
So the robbery doesn't really come off, and you end up having a front as a cookie shop, and the cookie shop makes a fortune.
Yes.
Twist of fate.
Twist of fate.
Twist of fate.
Yes, and that was the central core of the film.
And then the couple who had no money has a fortune. So how does money change people? Because they went from a small apartment to nothing and struggling to get by, and then they also have untold millions.
Well, she becomes very snooty. I mean, Tracy Ullman, who plays that great, goes from this kind of cheap gum-chewing wife to someone who is now the social queen of Park Avenue and decorates her house and plans dinners and wants to be cultured, and of course it's a good comic premise to work in. It's rife with comic possibilities.
One of the ambitions of your character in Time Crooks was to be able to spell Connecticut. Can you spell Connecticut?
I don't think I can spell it. Remember, I graduated from high school barely hitting the average. I mean, the average was like you had to have a 65 or 70 to graduate, and I graduated just with a 72, and then I was thrown out of college my first year. And in high school, I had 2 years of Spanish, which was mandatory. And when I went to college, I faked it and said I had no Spanish. And they put me in first year Spanish along with people that had no Spanish. And I had 2 years, and I failed that. And I was the only one in the class that failed it. So I was a terrible, terrible student.
Well, I failed Spanish too in college, so don't feel bad.
But you didn't have 2 years of it before you took it.
I had to take 2 years to graduate, but I never got to the second year. Thank you for talking to me.
Thank you.
You know, it's funny, I didn't visit New York until last July.